Good morning. I'm Shrija. I'm going to explain arrays in C. First of all, what is an array? And before going to array, I would like to tell you what is the need for an array. Now here one example is shown where we can see some elements are there 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. In a normal case, if we want to store these 6 values, we need to declare 6 different variables. Now here only 6 elements, 6 values are there. Now what if we want to work with 100 different values or maybe 1000 different values? How many variables we are going to declare? So it will be a tedious job. Storing, accessing, managing those variables will be a difficult task. So to eliminate these problems, or to get rid of these kind of problems, the array concept was introduced, where a single variable, name of the variable will remain same, but it will have a subscript using which we can access the different locations as part of the same variable. So basically an array is a homogeneous collection of values. It is a subscripted variable. It is a data structure. It is a sequential collection of elements of same type. All the elements will be stored in contiguous memory locations one after the other. So the name of array will be the base address of the array, which will give us the first element's address. And using that we can locate all other elements. So name of the array, which is the base address of the array, is very important, as that address can be used for locating all the other elements in the array. Now coming to different types of arrays, there can be 3 different types of arrays based on subscripts or dimensions: one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and multi-dimensional. One-dimensional array example I have shown here: name of the variable or name of the array along with the subscript, one subscript or one dimension. In two-dimensional array, the name of the array with 2 dimensions. Multi-dimensional array is anything greater than 2 dimensions. It can be 3, 4, and moreover it is compiler specific how many dimensions we can specify. So here in the example I have shown 3 dimensions and 4 dimensions as well. Coming to declaration of the array, this is a syntax. Firstly, you should mention the type, that is the data type of the array, which type of elements you are going to store, then what is the name you want to give to the array, and in square brackets the size of the array. So this is for one dimensional. For two dimensional, same things, type, array name will be there, but dimension will be 2 different dimensions you will be mentioning. And for more number of dimensions or for multi dimensions, same way you will go on declaring the dimensions, first dimension, second dimension, and as many you want. Some examples I have shown here, where first array is of integer type, second is of character type, third of float type. All these are one-dimensional arrays with their sizes. Here size is 10, 20, 5, etc. Here character array, if it is a character variable, it will be storing only a single character. Now but it is an array, so it can store 20 characters. So a group of characters in C is known as string. Here I am showing a 2-dimensional array, how it will be declared, the name of the array with the 2 dimensions. And in general, a 2-dimensional array we call it as a matrix, because the arrangement of elements will be somewhat similar to matrix. Logical, basically it's not a physical arrangement, it's the logical arrangement. So here there are 2 rows and 3 columns, and total number of locations that we get is 2 cross 3, that is 6 locations. Coming to memory representation of one-dimensional array, here you can see the first element gives the starting address of the array, which is the base address of the array, and it will be from the name of the array we can get the starting address of the array. So it's like a pointer. And all the elements are stored in contiguous locations, which can be seen through their addresses. And I am showing here integer array. So an integer in normal, most of the compilers, it takes 2 bytes. So it is, if the first element is at 100, next will be at 102, 104, 106, and so on. 2-dimensional array, this is the logical arrangement. Though like for one dimensional array, all the elements will be stored contiguously only, but for ease of access, we'll be differentiating it into rows and columns. So here we can see the filling up of rows will be done first. 10 will go here, then 20, 30, then it will come to second row with the 3 columns. Starting address of the array is the base address of the array. That's very important point to remember, because if we know the starting address of the array, we need not know all other addresses. Using 100 plus 2, it will give next address, plus 2 next address, like that. Initializing the arrays. One dimension array initialization I have shown here. Type of the array, name of the array, size of the array. In curly braces you are mentioning the values. Now as all values are already mentioned in the declaration initialization, and this statement is also same like the previous one. You can omit the size of the array if you are mentioning or you are giving all the values. Arrangement of the array will be like this. First element will go at the 0th index, and this is another important point to remember. In C, always the index starts from 0. And if there are 5 elements, last element will go at 4th location as it is starting from 0. That is n minus 1. In two-dimensional array, this is how we'll initialize the values. You can mention the number of rows and columns, and you can give all elements together. This is one way. Second way is you can omit both of them, but you demarcate it properly with curly braces, which elements will go to first row and which will be going for the second row. In the third case, you can omit the row and just mention how many columns. So that means it is ensured that every row will have 3 values or 3 columns. So first 3 will go to first row, next 3 will go to second row. Accessing array elements, you need to use in one-dimensional array, along with name of the array, one subscript, an index variable you need to use. The I value should start from 0 and it can go to till n minus 1 values. So if you want to access ith element, it will be accessed as ai minus 1. And for last element, if there are n elements, an minus 1. In a two-dimensional array, we need to mention 2 dimension or 2 subscript values, and the 2 control variables will be used for changing the values. Suppose I and j represent the row and column, then the first element will be at A00 location, and if it is a square matrix, then an equal number of rows and columns will be there. Suppose it is n, then the last element will be at an minus 1, n minus 1. Entering data into array. If we want to enter data into a one-dimensional array, a minimum one kind of loop should be used, as we need to change the subscript value. So here I am using for loop. It is easier to represent, so I am using that. Ampersand is must, as we are not going to access only the first element. We want to access all the elements. Without A itself is address of the array, but only first address will come. If we want to get all elements, then ampersand a of I, if I give, I will keep on changing, which will enable us to go from one element to the next element as the loop proceeds. In two-dimensional array, as we have 2 dimensions to be changed, 2 subscript variables to be changed, we need to use 2 loops. Outer loop is for changing the row values, and inner loop is for changing the column values. First, all columns will be over in one row, then it will go to the next row. Same outputting of array will be similar to inputting the values in the array, with only difference that in place of scanf, we are going to use printf, and no need of using ampersand symbol along with the name of the array variable. For printf, we'll be never using ampersand operator. Here's a sample program using array. I've kept the program very simple with no extra statements, only the statements which I already mentioned. Scanf for entering the values into the array, and printf for displaying the values from the array. Only small change which I have done is I am entering the values from subscript value 0 to 5, 0 to 4 actually. So all the values are entered, and then I'm displaying it in reverse order. So what I'm doing is I'm starting the index variable from last and going till 0. That is the first element. So it's going in a reverse order. So I'm getting the values in a reverse order. So here are some reflection spot questions. You can pause the video, try to answer them, and check out the answers in this particular site. Thank you.